Hello, everyone. Namaste, Hare Krishna, and good day to everyone watching the podcast today. So, this is our fourth podcast of the Conscious Women Connect podcast. I just want to thank all the viewers for tuning in to our previous few podcasts. It's been so great, such a wonderful time connecting with all of these women. I hope there will be many, many more to come. And I want to also say that if anyone wishes to be on the podcast, please connect with me, contact me. I'm always open to hearing all your different stories, all your different realizations. It's wonderful to connect with women from all walks of life, all ages, ethnicities, spiritual lineages, backgrounds, beliefs. It's wonderful to hear life experiences. And I believe all of these things can inspire other people, especially other women. And what we're really doing here is trying to have, a little bit of sangha among women, among spiritually conscious women who truly view life's journey as, a journey, and not just like we're born here in this world and we are wandering through just ignorance. We want to talk about the deeper things and the deeper meanings and the realizations that we have and our experiences, and share with each other and support each other. And I find that's really important among women. Of course, it's important for men as well, but I am a woman. I'm here in this world. I have this experience, so I do feel like it's very important to have communications with women. And I was just talking with our guest here, Gabriela, about the importance of connecting with other women and, having group connections with women as well, which I think we're going to talk a little bit about today. So without further ado, our next guest today, Gabriela. Hello.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Bhakti Devi, for inviting me. And congratulations for the idea of this podcast. It's really amazing when I see, women who have this initiative of highlighting other women, their journeys. And I really hope that you reach out to many people and inspire them.
Thank you. So, Gabriela, could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? What do you do in your day-to-day life? What's your background, education?
Okay, so we'll start with the material identifications. I'm from Romania. I'm currently based in Bucharest. Um, I'm an international lawyer, so I work globally. I'm focusing on negotiations related to technology agreements.
Mm.
I'm a mother. I um, I have a baby, a boy of 3 years and a half. I'm a wife. I'm a friend.
Mm.
I have many roles, but I think the most important one is that of spiritual seeker.
Mm.
This, I think, is the base for all the other roles.
Yeah, for sure. And why is that?
Well, it's in my view, I discovered that spirituality should be the and not should be is actually the base of for any other engagements role that we have in this life. It helps you to better understand the other roles and to better face the challenges specific to all those roles. I can
Yeah.
get in more details later on.
Yeah, for sure. So, as I understand, so you're an international lawyer.
Mhm.
And how long did it take you to become an international lawyer?
Uh, So, the first years of my career, I worked in international law firms. So I graduated, then I from the law university, then I for the first years of my career, I worked in international law firms. And then I switched to an in-house lawyer position. I'm currently for 10 years, I'm working for a technology company. So it took me, I'd say, like after graduation, I started to get involved in international projects.
Hmm. Okay. So I don't know how it works in Romania, but I know that in the US, for example, I've read the book about Michelle Obama,
Mm-hmm.
her biography, and how she met her husband Barack Obama. And Michelle Obama, I don't know how much you know about her, but she's
Mm-hmm.
also a lawyer
I know,
by
I know. Mm-hmm.
yeah, by profession. And I read her book a few months ago, and it was very incredible, inspiring for me. Did you read her book?
No, I didn't had the chance, but I know that how the story of how they met. I know that Barack Obama was actually the trainee of
Yes.
Michelle Obama initially. So yeah, um I'm also fascinated by her. I consider her to be like a very strong and ambitious and devoted wife and mother. So for sure, it's a inspiring role model for
Yeah.
women all over the world.
Yeah, she mentions in her book about just how difficult it was to study and become a lawyer.
Mm,
And especially how she was, a black woman, very minority
mm,
in Princeton University, and then in Harvard Law, or yeah, Harvard Law, I guess she went to
mhm,
Harvard Law after Princeton, yeah, and how difficult it was. Um, and she also mentions in her book what I really like is how she found community and connections with other women around her, and how it really boosted her up and gave her a lot of inspiration to what she was doing. And one thing that she brought up was when she met Barack, she felt
mhm,
like she felt like, whoa, this guy is way more ambitious than I've ever been. And she was very ambitious. She felt like he's too much, he's too radical, or like in a very like positive way. He's too and she felt like, okay, she started questioning herself when she got in this relationship with
mm,
Barack, like, who am I actually? Am I meant to just be a wife, or am I meant to, serve with higher things? Because my husband is so engaged and so dedicated to his work, where does that leave me? Because she
mhm,
was also a very ambitious woman.
mhm,
So I just really liked those reflections in Michelle Obama's book, because I felt like many of us women who are ambitious, who they we want, big things in our life. Um, I feel like there's often that question, like, okay, if I get married, if I want to have kids, where does that leave me, for my projects and my goals and
mhm.
my ambitions, So, um,
If I can give like an example for my life to what you said.
mm-hmm,
So you mentioned Michelle Obama, that she was inspired by a community of women and so on.
mm-hmm,
I was also inspired by woman. So actually, it is due to her that I chose this profession.
mm-hmm,
And it's unbelievable that I didn't even have the chance later on to tell her how much she influenced my life. So I was I was a student in law university, the third year. Until then, I was, I was thinking about becoming a judge.
Mm-hmm.
And after doing some summer practice at the prosecutor office, I realized that actually this idea of becoming a judge or prosecutor is not necessarily what I want in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a bit confused, like, what would I do after graduation? Um, and at some point, I attended an event organized by the university, by the law faculty. And it was this woman. She was a lawyer. She gave a presentation of what it means to be a woman working in this field, and it was mind blowing for me. For me as a young woman, confused about her career journey, what will that imply? To see such a lady, she was, I think, in her late 30s. She was so she transmitted so much confidence. She transmitted so much enthusiasm about her profession. And after only like 30 minutes of listening to her and understanding a bit more about this profession, a thought occurred in my mind, like, this is what I want to become. I want to become like her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's incredibly powerful for students, for girls studying, various professions, various subject matters, during those years where you do not know necessarily what will end up and what profession to choose. I think it's very important to connect, to participate, to attend these conferences, and to take advantage of any networking events and so on, so that you discover your role models in your profession. So looking back, yeah, I can say that the woman drastically changed my life. Due to her, I decided to have this profession, and I'll be forever grateful to her. And she doesn't even know, she has such an impact. She just, was invited by the university and to share some ideas. And what's interesting is that later on in my life, I decided to give back to the community like I received when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I got involved in many volunteering educational projects where I was a speaker to. I was collaborating with students, law students, and I was doing speeches. I was getting involved in their summer law schools, and so on, and many other educational projects, not only for law students. And after many years, a young lady wrote me a message saying that I attended one of your presentation. And at that point, I didn't know what will do after high school. I didn't know what I will choose to do. And now I'm studying law in London.
Mm.
And immediately after meeting you, I realized what I want to do in my life, and I was like, I felt in that moment like a circle who is complete, because I got inspired when I was very young, and then later on I helped other young lady to choose her profession. So this is how life works, we receive help, and then we should offer it to others.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I guess part of that is, as I know you do some kind of like health and well-being
Uh,
um
yeah,
project
well-being.
with your company right
Mm-hmm.
now. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so for like 6 years now, I created a community, a volunteering community within the technology companies that I'm working for.
Mhm,
It's called Wellbeing Enthusiast Community.
mhm,
Now this community has more than 1,000 members, and the scope of this community was to raise awareness on the importance of well-being, not only for professional life, but also for our personal life.
mhm.
And we are organizing events with speakers from the company, but also outside the company. We are focusing on physical, mental, emotional, social, spiritual well-being.
Mm.
And yeah, it's a community of where people feel very safe, to discuss about their well-being journey, and they are learning not only from our speakers, but also from all the members from all the participants to that event. It's a safe space where everyone shares what the books inspired them, or shares personal experiencing, challenging personal experiences, so that we are inspiring each other and supporting each other.
Great, great. So did you volunteer for that or did they choose you to organize this?
No, so it's a initiative that I had um, uh, 6 years ago. The company offers this possibility for employees to create affinity groups, uh,
Mm,
like parents communities, or for people, I don't know, um, who are interested in chess or
mm.
football or so on.
I see.
So yeah, it was my initiative, and I have a team of volunteers
Mhm,
who are also passionate about uh, these well-being topics.
mhm. So
It,
can I ask why in particular did you choose to start this kind of group? Because you could have been in parents group, you could have been in different kinds of groups. So why did you choose this?
um, it's a very good question. Sometimes in life we are, you know, doing things, and only later on we start to better understand maybe the motivation. And I was at that moment in my life, I was for many years on a journey. I was searching for something. To be
Mm,
honest, at that moment, I didn't even know what I was searching for. I was a seeker. I was going to many various personal development events, conferences. I was, trying to find answers to questions.
mhm,
Um, so I was very much interested in personal development, how to develop your character, how to grow in this life. So I thought that it will be an easier journey if I, create a community of like-minded people so that we inspire each other. I thought that, and also I thought that how I can use my skills to to help others, to also serve others. And it was this idea of helping others and be of service to others that motivated and inspired me. It
mm,
feels good to contribute to the society in some way or another. I had also received support in my life. And as I mentioned earlier on, I think it's very important, not to focus only on your well-being and only on your goals, but also to support others reaching their goals.
Yeah, this whole element of service, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Just if you allow me just to
mhm,
provide a bit more details, I'm
sure.
passionate about volunteering since I was like
Hmm.
10 years old.
Hmm.
I was doing a lot of volunteering all of my life.
Hmm.
So it was like a natural journey for me. I before creating this community, I
Hmm.
was involved in hundreds of educational projects as a volunteering.
Hmm.
When I was a child, I was involved in environmental projects as a volunteer. So it's not like, out of a sudden I decided, how to use my resources, my time, to help others. It was something I was doing from age. So it was like a natural way of
Hmm.
it was something natural for me to create this community and to be of support. I like volunteering, and I have a deep appreciation for people who are involved in volunteering projects.
Hmm. So you said that it's been since you're a young child that you're interested in like volunteering, giving your time.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
Mm-hmm.
like you're very passionate about making a difference in the world, right?
Yeah, maybe it's too much, saying like making a difference, but I wanted to, I had from like a young age this idea of freely offering skills, time
Hmm.
to others. Getting involved in a community also was something very important for me from a very young age.
Hmm.
And actually, it was not something, that I necessarily saw in my family. It was something that I felt like I had like a natural inclination to say.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
and I think for as a mother and as a parent in general, I think it's very important to educate your child, your children, to get involved in community projects and to, in some way or another, to make the child realize that he or she is part of a community,
Hmm.
and every member of that community should contribute with his her skills, time, and so on. So I'm a strong believer in the power of a community, the power of communities.
Hmm.
I'm I think being a part of communities in general, irrespective of the scope of that community, it's very empowering, very empowering.
Yeah. One thing I know about you is also that you've been a vegetarian for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
right? Since childhood. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's something that I also felt like how to say, it's similar with the volunteering aspects of my life. It's from a young age, around 10 years old, I decided to give up meat.
Mm.
Um, and it was not triggered by, like a trend. At that time, it was not at all trendy to be a vegetarian. And I remember that, when animals are killed, and whenever I went to my grandparents for Christmas and so on, and, they were killing animals for Christmas or for Easter, lambs, porks, and so on. Yeah, I had like this sensation that they are killing not animals, they are killing souls, and they're like, those animals like are not different than me, are is like I consider them as part of, we are part of the same family. It's very weird to, maybe it sounds very weird, very strange, but when I was a little girl, I didn't make any difference between animals and people. I just consider them on the same level, on the soul level. You know,
Mhm.
no one told me about that. It's just something that I felt. So I
Mhm.
felt really awful hearing animals being killed. And yeah, so I decided that I don't want to contribute to this. Uh, I didn't want to do any harm to animals, and by eating meat, of course, you are contributing to this industry. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not judging anyone's choice in relation to whatever they are meeting and eating. Yeah, I was just, um, trying to answer your questions, like why I decided, to become a vegetarian. It's I think um, it's important to have compassion in life.
Mhm.
It's important to have compassion not only to other persons,
Mhm.
but also to all the entities,
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
including plants actually,
I,
because plants also have soul, you
mhm.
know. It's yeah, we need to be mindful that um about the lives around us, and that animals also have a soul and so on.
Yeah. So your grandparents had a farm, right? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
my grandparents have from have a farm. I have very happy memories from my childhood. Is I During the summers I was helping my grandparents, the cows and
Mhm.
horses, and I felt a deep connection to cows, especially.
Mhm.
um, I remember when my grandmother was collecting milk from the cows, and
Mhm.
and the little calf was
Mhm.
waiting to
Mhm.
uh, to get the milk from his mother, and I was always telling my grandmother, "Mom, grandma, we have a lot, we have sufficient milk. Please let it for this calf. He's so hungry, So yeah, I lived around the animals, and I think it's very important for a child, to
Mhm.
have this interaction. I think this is missing for the children raised only, in big towns. It's very difficult, to understand animals and to if you have no interaction, So I am very grateful for the opportunity to at least during summer to stay around animals and yeah.
It's actually a story that I've heard a few times from different vegetarians or vegans that I've known is that they grew up they grew up actually seeing their grandparents um on the farm killing the chickens and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So like that those experiences have turned many people to be vegetarian or vegan,
Yeah,
I feel.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not the
Mm-hmm.
first person that I've talked to who's
Mm-hmm.
shared a story like that for sure because you're right. Like children today are so unaware and detached of like where their food is coming from, you know?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And if we look at the statistics now in
Mm-hmm.
this year, more people than ever live in cities
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and than any time in the past. So, I mean,
You're
but yeah, go ahead.
no. I was saying, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I just saw the statistic, like how the number of people living in cities and megapolises, has grown and grown. And if people don't try to be even a little bit conscious, they don't understand where their food comes from or what they're eating. You know, people, you look, go in the supermarket. Of course, I live in a big city, I live in a capital city, and you go in
Mhm.
the supermarket and everything I know is packaged. Not everything, but many of things are just packaged. You know, you don't know what's in it, you don't know where it's coming from. People don't think about what they're eating. And it's unbelievable to me that people don't think about what they're eating. Really. Like,
Yeah, it's you're totally right. You know, people, children who uh are don't have this possibility, you know, to interact with animals and to that, you know, to live on farms, and you know, I think it's they're very detached, as you mentioned. You know, they are not. And to be honest, I understand in some ways their detachment, you know. I realized, you know, the process because I was living on the farm.
mhm,
I saw daily, you know, you know, how how the animals are killed and so on. So I heard the screams. I saw their fear
mhm,
when, you know, they were going to be killed. I saw the cruelty, you know, of uh, people killing the animals. So
mhm,
all this had like a very strong impact on
mhm,
me. But if you are, you know, if you are a child and you don't see this, you just go to the supermarket,
mhm,
you it's very difficult to make the connection.
mhm. You
So
know,
I'm planning sorry sorry interrupt. I'm planning, you know, when my boy will be a bit older, you know, to take with me in the summer to I am planning to go to various farms
mhm,
and do volunteering work and
mhm,
help with the animals and so on. And it's very important for me that he also is there with me and see this. And
mhm.
it's very I'd like him to be introduced, you know, to this living in a farm, this idea of living in a farm. And
Do you think
sorry if
you
I'm
do you
interrupting.
think you will want to move back to a farm or countryside in the future?
uh I don't think so. I'm due to my profession and so on, I'm, you know, very connected to this. But to living in a city, you know, but maybe later on, you know, when
Mhm.
my boy will be an adult and so on. Yeah, I'm dreaming of, you know, later on uh, to live in a farm. Yeah. It's a very inspiring way of living, very natural way of living.
Mhm.
Actually, this is also the reason why for many years, like for like 12 years, I'm not living in a big city. It's like I'm living outside Bucharest in a smaller town near forests.
Mhm.
So, and sometimes I see like sheep or cows or rabbits, you know, near my house. So I think this is, you know, my way of balancing, you know, the professional life and also being more connected and close to nature.
Yeah, I want to say you see this a lot, actually. I notice now when I look at bloggers on TikTok,
Mhm.
Instagram, and even Facebook, many of the bloggers who are doing this like natural homestead life,
Mhm.
um, I follow mostly from US or Canada also, but people ask them the question, oh my, how could you afford this? How could you afford to get out of the city and move to the countryside in a big house where you have all this stuff, where you're doing all this homesteading to have animals? It's quite expensive if you're starting just from starting new, you know. But what I hear or what I see often are the story is that, oh, you know, 5 years ago I was working in international corporation at the top level. I was a CEO. I was next in line to be CEO. I was top lawyer in my company, and I was living in the city, and I was burnt out, feeling disconnected
Mm-hmm.
from nature, from myself. Um, and of course, I had a great job, so I have enough money, to buy my own property, my own homestead, to live. They have this trend now, trad wife and all that. But like people I can see want this connection to go back to the land, to
Mm-hmm.
put your feet on the soil, to get out of the city pollution, the air, dirty air and busy lifestyle. In English, we say rat race, rat race.
Yeah, yeah.
So I hear what you're saying, and I feel like it's quite common these days.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, what helped me is that I work from home.
okay.
So, I think what I seen is a lot of people are, very drastic. They are like they're either choosing professional life or choosing, to live close to nature and so on. But there is a catch. You can have both of them.
Mm,
So there are possibilities, especially nowadays, to work from home. So you can have like a challenging professional life,
mhm,
but but live close to a forest and to have animals. Of course, I don't have like a farm. I wouldn't have the time to uh, to um, to take responsibility of animals and so on. But as I mentioned, I'm living in a small town near forest.
mhm,
There are not so many the- houses, or it's a very peaceful way of living,
mhm,
and you don't see blocks, and you see only houses.
mhm,
And I it's it's very important for me to live in this type of environment. I When I lived in the city, it was so awful for my well-being. So
mm,
yeah, if I encourage people, if you have the possibility to work from home, you
mm,
know, to go and live close to forest or in more smaller community,
mhm,
it was very stressful for me when I lived in a big city like Bucharest. I couldn't relax. I couldn't. It was very difficult for me.
mm. Yeah, I can imagine, especially if you come from a farm life, come from a small
No,
town.
the farm life was only during the summer.
Mm,
In So I'm not coming from a farm life. I just experienced this farm life during summers,
mhm,
during each summer for 3 months
mhm,
until I was like 14 years old.
mhm,
But it had a big impact on me. It really had a big impact on me. It's much more peaceful life, when you are living close to nature and animals.
mhm.
Then
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, one thing that we've talked about a little bit just between you and me is how you're finding community with women.
Mhm.
Um, Now, okay, let's first talk about. I know that you're on the spiritual path, like me.
Mhm.
You practice in Bhakti Yoga, right?
Mhm. Krishna
Uh,
Consciousness is Bhakti Yoga.
yes, Krishna Consciousness. Um, so I mean, I know your story of how you got into it, right? And I know your story of, your experiences with that. Um, but can you just would you say what attracted you to that? What attracted you to go on that path?
What
Yeah.
attracted me to Krishna consciousness?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, wow, there were many aspects that attracted me to Krishna consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was the kirtan,
Mm-hmm.
the devotional music.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard for the first time kirtan, uh, which glorifies the name of Krishna, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard for the first time Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Mm-hmm.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, it really moved me.
Mm-hmm.
I cried, like I cried a lot when I heard the first time kirtan music, and for many days I was like in a sort of trance, you know. It was like I was taking drugs. So I was not taking any drugs, but it felt like, you know, very peaceful, very. It also attracted me the philosophy. And when I'm referring to the philosophy, I'm mostly referring to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm referring to the Vedic philosophy, so ancient Indian philosophy. Um, this philosophy answered a lot of provided the answers to a lot of deep questions that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was attracted by the community of devotees, of people who are having this faith, you know. So a lot of things, attracting me. The prasadam, which is the food offered to Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it tasted unbelievable. You know, there were many aspects.
Mm-hmm.
But I think mostly I was attracted by the philosophy, by
Mm-hmm.
the philosophy of Krishna consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the idea that we are not this body, we are eternal souls full of bliss, full of knowledge, and that our scope is not to, you know, gratify our senses. This is not the real scope of our life,
Mm-hmm.
but our the real scope of a human being is to realize that is the self-realization that we are actually soul and we are not this body, and that our scope is to redevelop a relationship with Krishna, with God,
Mm-hmm.
and go back to Krishna, and to remember Krishna when we die.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very, you know, very general, but these are the main ideas of this philosophy.
Yeah. I'm sure it helped that you've been vegetarian since you're 10 years old, right?
Yeah, it was, you know, there are certain principle, you know, that someone who is on this path has to follow, and one of them was ahimsa, you know,
Mm,
not to. Ahimsa actually implies more than not eating meat. You know,
mm-hmm.
ahimsa means violence. It's negation. So it means not to do any violence to other people
Mm-hmm.
or to any other entities. So yeah, for me it was quite easy to, you know, to observe this part of ahimsa, which means not doing any harm to animals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's yeah, it's as per Vedic philosophy, as per Krishna consciousness, or Bhakti yoga. It's very important what you eat, because it affects your consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are eating meat, of course, you are your consciousness is affected in a negative way. So is there as per as you all of course know, as per Vedic philosophy, there are three modes of nature. There is the tamasic, rajasic, and goodness mode. And of course, there's the fourth one, which is transcendental to these three modes of nature.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are eating meat, we are, mainly in the tamasic way of living and thinking. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Definitely, I can testify that if you are a longtime vegetarian or vegan and you eat something which is even like a little bit
Mhm.
with meat or fish or like that, it's like you really feel the difference and you wonder like what's going on, even if you've eaten it like accidentally, like
Mhm.
the last time for me was I was in the airport in China
Mm.
and my husband and I when we were so hungry, we went to actually it was in Taiwan. Yeah, we were
Mm.
passing through Taiwan airport and we went to this like soup place and we said, okay, give us, the vegetarian, no meat with just like water, no broth or anything, but they ended up putting chicken broth in it. And we didn't know. We only realized after when we came back a second time because we
Mhm.
had like 24-hour layover. Um, we only realized after when we came back that, oh, they actually put chicken broth in our thing. When we went to order again, we were like, okay. So when I had that, I noticed this change in my consciousness. I was like, I feel really weird here. I feel really tired. I feel really like I'm angry about everything. Like I'm agitated. I'm getting angry at my husband, and I just felt like I wanted to sleep completely. It was really this tamas, this
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
so ignorant energy. It was already 5 years ago that happened, but um, yeah, I recently, starting in January of 2024, I switched to being like 99% vegan.
Mm.
Because I also realized that I have a lactose intolerance.
Mhm.
That it was causing me some health issues. But um, as soon as I became vegan, it's actually the second time I've gone vegan from vegetarian. As soon as I became vegan this time, within like a week or two, I felt a huge difference in my life, could possibly be that the dairy was really affecting my health and affecting my gut health, because as we know, gut health has a key role in the brain health.
Mhm.
Um, so if you can't digest dairy properly, then you're going to have problems with your mind for sure. But when I cut out dairy, I just felt like everything opening up for me somehow. I felt like I saw the world in a new light. Um, just seeing these new connections between everything. I felt really like spiritually
Mhm.
alive.
Mhm.
Now there are some groups, like for example, I have this book here. There are some groups who say that vegan is the only way to ascension and
Mhm.
um, this type of thing. I agree that I agree that the modern dairy industry is very violent, you know,
Yes.
and it's very destructive and it's very negative. And if people are ingesting that, then they're ingesting a lot of the fear from the cow and the exploitation and everything. And yeah, so
I understand you. I also
Mm.
99% of my diet is vegan.
Mm.
So I totally agree with you
Yeah.
that we need to be very careful of what we are eating, um, the impact of that industry
Hmm.
on animals, and I think the best diet is a simple diet, like fruits, vegetables,
Hmm.
seeds,
Hmm.
and this is also, you know, what I'm implementing in my life. And a lot of people ask me like, oh, how do you have energy, to uh, do your job and get involved in so many other
Mm.
volunteering projects. I also, for many years, I was passionate about also basketball. So I had a lot of energy in my life, and people were asking like, how you are doing this? If you are not eating meat, and as I mentioned, I'm also not a big fan of dairies. So, and I told them that on the contrary, due to the fact that I don't eat meat and other stuff, I have this, I have so much energy. So
Mm.
it's either way, it's like vice versa. It's like people think that you need meat and dairies and so on to have energy, but on the contrary, it gives you much more focus. It gives you much more energy.
I agree. I totally agree. Like your gut is clear and
Mm-hmm.
clean. And if I look at some people that I know who they eat a diet where, like, if I speak about people I know back home, the North American diet is terrible.
Yeah.
I think you know it. I think you know it.
You are from Canada
Yeah, I'm
or
from Canada. I'm from Canada.
Canada?
But
Mm-hmm.
I see a huge difference where I live here in Europe, kind of close to
Mm-hmm.
you. That people are more conscious of their food and where their food comes from in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
way
Mm-hmm.
more than in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Just now in Canada, people are trying to be more conscious because they want to boycott American products right
Yeah.
now. I think you know about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a huge trade war thing going on, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so just now everybody's looking at the labels, but people in Canada I've seen are can be so just totally unconscious, about their purchasing, their decisions. Um, and if I speak about, I think it's a lot of people I've seen also in Ukraine, people who don't care about what they eat, they don't care. They eat fried food, fried meat, fried meat wrapped in bread and all this stuff, like, which I know people back home now who tell me, "Oh, Alexandra, I need your help with my diet. Please give me some advice because I can't go to the toilet and I have this pain in my stomach and I'm overweight and I can't think straight. I have such bad anxiety. I have depression." And I mean, the first thing I say is like, okay, what are you eating?
Yeah. Yeah.
What
It's
what are you eating?
exactly.
What are you
Mm-hmm.
eating so that you can't go to the toilet? And and do you move? Do you move around? Do you
Mm-hmm.
walk places? Do you go places? There's a big problem in North America, which is that everything is very far from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw the prices. We have the problem in Canada, which is that there are many communities of people who live very far away,
Together.
far away
Mm-hmm.
from the border. They live in small communities, which are
Mm-hmm.
in isolated areas, not in big
Mm-hmm.
cities or anything. In the north of Canada, in some of the provinces, most of
Mm-hmm.
Canada is quite unpopulated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just saw some posts about the prices, like in the northern area, like $25 for 5 oranges.
Wow.
Yeah, and these kind of prices, which been an ongoing crisis for quite a long time in Canada, where people can't afford healthy food.
Mm.
Healthy food in some places is very expensive. It's cheaper for people to buy pre-packaged, pre-made uh,
Yeah, I understand.
stuff, you
I
know. Yeah, I like living in Europe where I do, Eastern Europe, quite close to you because you
mm-hmm.
see a lot of fresh. Everything is very fresh. Everything is seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
You hear that I've heard this quite a lot from Americans who have come to live in Europe or like Eastern Europe
Mm-hmm.
in particular, is that we like, oh, why did we come back to USA? We had such a good life in Albania. We had such a good life in Albania, you know, Albania of all places. We had such
Yeah, yeah.
we had such a good life in Albania where we had fresh food, seasonal food, and even people who eat meat would say, "Oh, we had you know, fresh meat, which was from an old woman sitting on the corner who is
Mm-hmm.
from a factory farm where that animal has been given antibiotics." And that animal has been on drugs because it can't live in that unnatural, terrible situation. I mean, we have this situation. We know that everything here in the supermarket, you know, if you eat meat, I don't, but people who eat meat, you know, as you're talking about your son also, my daughters also, you know, they don't have an awareness of where that stuff is coming from, you know. And like you, we try to raise our daughters to be conscious about the world. My we're very lucky where we live. Actually, we live close to a Waldorf school.
Mm-hmm.
You know about it, and
Yeah.
it's I really like that system because I feel like it teaches the children awareness
Mm-hmm.
about their world, about their natural world. Of course, we live in the city, but um, we're also lucky to have a cottage in the countryside, and even still, city people going for the summer to live in the cottage is not really the same as
Mm-hmm.
you know, actually living that life on the farm. I wouldn't want to live like that for sure, because if I know about people who really live on the farm, who are deep villagers and things, I know that their life is quite difficult. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they at least where we live, I know that people who are actually, you know, in the deep village here, they're quite not too educated, and you know, certain things which I feel it's difficult. It's a difficult life, yeah. So, but
For sure.
yeah, I think that farmers who work on really big farm operations, they're quite better off actually, you know, growing, you know, corn or you know, big operations of sunflower oil or other kind of things, which are the crops over here. Yeah, but anyway, how did we get on this topic? But
Yeah.
it's a question of, you know, how to raise our children to be conscious, to think about things where they don't just act. Like this is the teaching of our shastras also, right? Where we don't want to just be, you know, living a karma life, karmi life. You know, we want to be living our life with intention, thinking about what we're doing, um, about why are we doing it, you know, um, these kind of questions, which like everything is taught in bhakti. And lately, I really read and kind of take shelter of the teachings of, especially of the Swami Prabhupada, you know, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, because when you actually open his books and his commentaries and you get into it, he gave so much. He gave so much. He gave like the knowledge he gives is just so much. It's incredible. It's unbelievable that a man who is more than 70 years old could write all these books, long commentaries on books, you know, while at the same time traveling the world and at the same time teaching all of these disciples giving daily classes and chanting everything, all of his mantras and rounds every day, It's
Yes.
quite unbelievable. And lately, just this past week, I've been getting very emotional about this. And I remember when I was a new devotee long time ago, when I was like 18 years old, I was also very emotional um, about Prabhupada, about Swami Prabhupada, because I would watch his videos and see the videos of him, listen to him singing, and I would start crying. And I remember one time I really started crying, 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 shaking, sitting on my bed and asking, why couldn't I meet you? Why couldn't I be there with you? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and lately I get that feeling again somehow. Um,
Actually, we can, sorry if I interrupt, we can still associate with him, We are
yeah.
very lucky that we have these videos, that we have the books, the commentaries. So
Mhm.
it's like he's still with us, We should meditate about this idea that he's still with us.
Mhm.
And yeah, for sure, he was empowered. He was empowered uh, to deliver this Vedic philosophy, this Krishna consciousness all over the world.
Mhm.
He's for sure a bona fide spiritual master, and we are very like we are very grateful, that we discovered his books and teachings. He
Yeah.
really served humanity, in an extraordinary way.
Mhm. Yeah. I want to ask you one more topic about
Mhm.
motherhood,
Yeah.
about becoming a mother and balancing that with your profession and with your
Mm.
spiritual life. Because as I understand, you do your practice, right? Your sadhana.
Yeah.
Um, you've been steady with it or so, right? Am I right? So I want to ask a few questions. How have you found the balance, and how has this influenced your spiritual journey?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to be honest, it was difficult, at least at the beginning, when my son was several months old. It was a difficult thing for me. I returned to my job when he was 4 months old.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a difficult thing, and still is difficult. But if there is a will, there is a way,
Mm-hmm.
And I think actually the sadhana, the spiritual practice, is, as I mentioned at the beginning of our discussion, is the one that helps me in the other roles, as a lawyer, as a mother. And because it brings me peace, it brings me joy. I'm doing my sadhana when my boy is in kindergarten, so I'm, trying to get advantage of the time where, he's not with me, or during the weekends when he's not going to the kindergarten, I wake up earlier or stay up late after he goes to sleep to do my sadhana. So it's, I think, since I become a mother, I'm much more conscious of the importance of time.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't have kids, you take time for granted, and you're not very efficient
Mm-hmm.
in your way. So I think becoming a mother actually made me more efficient. Did oblige me in some way to become much more disciplined, much more efficient with my time.
Mm-hmm.
And also answering your questions, how it changed me, the motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as per Bhakti Yoga, as per Krishna Consciousness, it is mentioned in the Shastras that someone should not become a mother or a father unless that person will help his or her child, to uh, get back to Krishna.
Mm.
So it changed me because I become actually much more serious and responsible with my sadhana, because now I have also the responsibility not only to care about the physical needs or emotional needs of my baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also responsible for his spiritual development and spiritual needs.
Mm-hmm.
And the mothers, as per the Vedic philosophy, they're the first guru of a child.
Yes. Yes.
So, but it's every day. For example, we are chanting together in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
every night I'm chanting with my boy, and
Mm-hmm.
the feeling is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's an amazing feeling to chant the holy name, to chant Hare Krishna, and to see his enthusiasm. He says, "No, he says, me first. I chant first,
Mm-hmm.
and now your turn, your turn." And it changed me in a way that, to summarize, I'm much more present, much more uh, aware of the time and how I allocate the time. And I think it increased also my compassion and my empathy.
Mm-hmm.
When you become a mother, all your senses, are much more alert. It's you are, and I also now have much more compassion and respect for other mothers.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a deep respect for mothers, but I never understood their resilience and their power and the challenges that they are facing. You can't understand this
Mm-hmm.
unless and until you also become a mother.
Mm-hmm.
So very deep respect. I have deep respect for mothers. And it also motivated me to associate with other mothers. And I'm part of a community of mothers, and we meet every month, and it's so empowering. It's the energy of when mothers get together, and empower each other and help each other grow. It's really something amazing. And I'm also a part of a community of Vaishnavi, of women who are practicing Krishna consciousness. We also meet every week,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so it's difficult, but I'm trying to balance all these roles. Every role has is bringing me challenges, but also a lot of fulfillment.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely identify with you because I have now two little girls and
Wow. How old they are?
4 and 2.
4 and 2.
Yeah.
Wow. So my boy is in between, right?
Okay, he's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like the first years with my first daughter were really, really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Um like just difficulties like you can't imagine, which during that time I fell away from my sadhana.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that made things even more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the past couple months, I'm really getting my sadhana back and really
Mm-hmm.
feeling inspiration because I've been like pushing my husband to that we have to, get to the temple more. We have to find inspiration in our bhakti together. We have so many like difficulties going on around us. You can't imagine. Like we have elderly parents, we have a
Yeah.
war that we're living through. We had COVID-19, and it's even more difficult when you have to, associate with people like parents or relatives or whoever who are against your practice,
Yeah.
who don't understand it, don't understand why you don't eat meat, don't understand those things and criticize you for it. So
Mhm.
it can be a really killer of your bhakti
Yeah.
creeper. And
Mhm.
so one thing I found that has really helped me, which I've been doing for the past couple of months, is I've been doing manifestation audio tapes for like that you listen to while you sleep.
Mm.
And I feel like that was a force that actually helped me. It was like an initial thing which helped me to get back into my sadhana, back into my japa. Um, I feel it really affecting a lot of things positively in my life. So yeah, I'm continue to listen. I continue to listen. I do my I'm trying to do my japa every day. Um, I am usually doing it like every day these days. And I'm just really praying, to Krishna, like, please just let me chant. Please just let me
Yeah,
chant because I
it's a
see.
beautiful prayer, beautiful thing to ask from Krishna,
Mhm.
to help you, you know, do your sadhana.
Yeah, because I see the huge difference. Without sadhana, this life
Mm-hmm.
is, I can't even explain. This life is unbearable for
Yeah.
me. Without sadhana. Without sadhana, this life is unbearable. With sadhana, it's like, oh, finally, the sun has come up. Know that song, Here Comes the Sun, right?
Yeah.
It's so true. Like when I do my japa again, when I get back into my sadhana, I remember a time of my life before I was married when I was doing my sadhana really strongly every day and how my life was literally transcendental, how my life was just so sublime. I
Mm-hmm.
want to feel that again, It's I forgot about it. We forget. We can forget Krishna. It's true. We can forget Krishna.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's important. Sorry, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt.
it's very delicate. The creeper
Mm-hmm.
of bhakti, the the bhakti lata, how do you call it? It's
Yeah,
so delicate. It's so delicate. It's really frail. It's really like a creeper you see. It can easily be swept away. So I feel
right.
like we have to keep those things in place in our life where we're feeding that creeper. We have to water it. We have to give it sun. We have to give it light. All of these things together. We have to feed it. It's true.
Yeah, I think also, so I totally agree with you, that, someone who is on a spiritual path has to be, has to make sure that he has the time, the association. But I'm always thinking that as mothers, especially mothers of young children,
Mm-hmm.
they also need to have more patience and tolerance with themselves, and
Yeah.
compassion towards yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you can't have everything at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You you need to be mindful that you have certain limitation. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, I was, if you allow me to read something that um, I read like very recently.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if I have it with me, just a second. So he was saying that you need to. He was saying in a letter. I can't find it right now, but the idea is that he was saying in a letter to a mother
Mm-hmm.
that you need to take care of your girl. This is you know what you have to do, and later on when that girl is not so dependent on your care, you have time, plenty to uh, chant Hare Krishna mantra and do together
Mm-hmm.
um, So Srila Prabhupada, he had understanding, he in compassion toward mothers,
Mm-hmm.
and highlighted that when the child is very young and in needs the constant attention and care from the mother, like that's the priority for a mother. And then later on, you as a mother you'll also have time to do your sadhana and also practice together with your child. So I think it's also always important to get to read Srila Prabhupada's commentaries and letters, because him being a bona fide master, spiritual master, he also gives the most authentic and compassionate advice to everyone. So I think I hope it's it's uh, it's also inspiring, to try to be compassionate not only with others but also with ourselves, because it's one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult, role for a woman to be a mother. So be kind to you, and you'll see that in time you'll everything will align, and trust
Yeah,
trust Krishna that he will support you and give you the all the help that you need.
for sure. I can speak personally that before I became a mother, this world was a mystery to me. The world of being a mother was a mystery to me. I couldn't understand my parents, and
Yeah.
I couldn't understand um what they've been through. And it's not only that, but it's like creating your own family is it pushes you to grow so
Mhm.
much, because you're in a situation where you have to be with another person or with other people, and you have to tolerate everything going on there. You can't run away. You have to stay strong. You have to find ways to cooperate. It's teamwork. It's um, you know, being honest. You have to, I mean, if you want to stay together, if you're not, then everything may just fall apart. So it's like finding things um to develop yourself in the family unit is really another world compared
Mhm.
to compared to the world of just being single and working for yourself for your whole life. It teaches you selflessness. It really gives you wisdom.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you should not compare, I saw this, people who don't have children and don't have this family responsibility,
Mm,
they expect the same standards from the people who have these responsibilities.
mm,
And it's a very, negative way of thinking, that it's very difficult for a grihasta, for someone they who is a parent, because as you mentioned, it's like when you have a child with someone,
mm,
you need to put the interest of that child, above your interest.
mm,
You need to let go of your false ego, and tolerate offenses, or you know um, try to make compromises. Yeah. And um, it's a challenging aspect. Unfortunately, many people nowadays, are getting divorced,
mhm,
and a lot of children are traumatized
mm.
by the fact that their parents are divorcing. So I think it's having having a spiritual practice and being on a spiritual path. It can help you and bring you other perspective and a more wise perspective on, what's your role and how you should deal with the challenges of having a family.
Yeah. Can I just ask you about your work because you are a professional woman, you're international lawyer. I suppose in your career you've had these situations where people you work with may be single or they may not have kids. So you're speaking from personal experience, right? Where you've had those situations where they're expecting um like
No, no, no. I
no,
was actually
no.
referring, to um devotees,
Uh,
spiritual people
mm,
who, have this expectation, from so I was not referring from a professional perspective, but
mm,
from other you know
mm,
devotees or who don't have children. It's very difficult for them to understand uh,
mm. Right.
uh,
Actually, I agree. I've seen it myself as well. When my younger daughter was very small, she was taking my japa in the temple, throwing it around. I couldn't manage her. She was so active. She was overtired, because we're in the temple all day. She's overtired. She's acting out because she's too tired. She's taking my japa, takes it out, throws it around, and then um, you know, some immature people who they're just immature. They see you and they just want to tell you you're wrong for something, so they tell you, oh, what your child is doing, it's very bad. And I even don't want to think about that time because I know those people and I know they're good people. um I know that just in certain circumstances, there's just some little like intrigues, like high school level drama. It's very like immature to me because I still I still like those people. They're still they're still like like family to me in a way, even though we don't talk much or like at all. But I still remember those times when we served together, when we shared our life in bhakti together, and like I appreciate the the person, though I may think their actions or their comments are just silly. Um, but yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah.
yeah. It's as I mentioned, when you asked me what how um how motherhood changed me, it actually made me realize that I should focus more on the association with people who also have children, because even if I was not on a spiritual path, whenever someone has children, it's like you'll see that you lose the relationship with those who don't have children, because they're two separate worlds, being a parent and not being a parent. So it's it triggered this aspect in my life that uh, I should search for association with people who have the capacity, to understand the difficulties that I'm facing. And um, yeah, it's just made a big shift in what type of association I'm enjoying and looking for nowadays, in comparison with
Yeah.
the periods before I became a mother.
Yeah, I feel that a lot too as well. Like, if I will say, like where we live, um, where we live, we were, I mean, we still kind of are, and we were part of a like community, um, following certain things, but people in that community, they don't have any children. And it's either people who are quite a lot older, or people who are quite a lot younger, or people who are in between who they don't want children, they don't have children, maybe they're married, but they don't want
Yeah.
children. So there are no children around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and okay, I see what you're saying here. Yeah, there are no children around, so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I felt quite lonely and quite isolated in
Yeah,
that
yeah, I agree.
environment. And so it's like people are trying to be nice,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to, support you, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't meet together. I just, the main thing for me was I want to see my kids are happy. I want to see my kids are growing,
Yeah,
and I want to see that they're, getting nourished, because that happens when they're with other children also.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yes, you want to say something?
No, no.
Yeah, I think we've been on for quite a while, so we can wrap up. So, is there anything else, any final words of inspiration for mothers or professional mothers who want to balance their home, work life with their spiritual life?
Yeah, it's I always try to refrain myself from giving unsolicited advice or to consider, myself to, it's like nowadays I'm seeing so many, very young girls and boys, who feel the need, to give advice and to consider themselves authorities and so on. So I really try, to realize that I'm not in the position to consider myself any, authority or to give any advice. So I really try to adopt this motto in my life that, to give advice only when someone asks me.
Mm-hmm,
But what I can share, with the people who will watch this your podcast is that and especially mothers, right? You said
mm-hmm,
professional mothers who are also on a spiritual path.
mm-hmm,
It's you know you c- it can feel very lonely,
mm-hmm,
extremely lonely when you are a mother, and it's very important to try to reach out to other mothers. And a mistake that I did, for a long time during this motherhood journey was to think that association means physical association.
mm-hmm,
So I put these limits. I created these limits in my life, in my mind, that oh, I need this physical association for me, for my child. But association does not mean physical association. You can be very close to people, to certain people, and feel very lonely. And
mm-hmm,
you can have like deep friendships
mm-hmm,
with people from various parts of the world who can really inspire you, who can really understand you, who can support you, with kind words and compassion. So I started reaching out and searching for um, for for this type of association, which is not I found it in people who are living far away from me,
mm-hmm,
people who are very supportive when I'm faced a lot of challenges in my life.
mm-hmm.
So I'd like, in the end to say this, like the association with others is very important, especially for mothers.
Yeah.
And we can find it also not only through physical association, but also online association.
Mm-hmm.
So that will
Awesome.
be. my something, that helped me and maybe can inspire other mothers as well.
Great to hear. So thank you so much, Gabriela. Hare Krishna. Have a good day, everyone. Bye to the viewers at home, and have a blessed, wonderful day, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much, Bhakti Devi. It was a really nice conversation that we had, and I feel inspired also by all your roles. And for me, it's really unbelievable that, having two young children, having sadhana, and you also had time, to think about this project that hopefully will inspire others. So thank you so much for the invitation, and all the best with this project of yours. Hare Krishna to
Hare Krishna.
everyone.